Welcome back to another episode of the Unleashed Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Haji, as always, alongside boys, Mr. Hassan, Abduljabar. How you guys been, man?
Good, man.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
You were away for a week.
Yeah, I've been gone for a little while, 10 days.
Mashallah, how's your trip?
It was very good. It was actually a very good trip. So wedding there, but I got to spend 10 days there. So normally the weddings are nikah and then the wedding and
all within the weekend.
Yeah, and then
Smashed
you're
out.
back and you're gone. They had the whole wedding and nikah a week apart.
Mashallah.
So we had time to sleep and eat and
Enjoy,
go out, and it was pretty good. Yeah.
I remember seeing some of these guys
Snaps
and whatnot, making me think, I'm booking a ticket right away. Because so far for every wedding that you've been to interstate, I was there.
Yeah.
So far, this is the one. This is the only one that you and Amir
No way.
went without me.
I've been to every single
You've
one.
been to every,
Okay.
and I've been to every that. Since I moved here, we went back a few times together. This is the only one that they went without me. So I was like, yo, man, I'm missing out.
You know, the funny thing is when you're on holiday and you put like a story or something up, you just see everyone else try to put something else up as well.
Yeah,
I had friends in Melbourne, I got
does
people visiting Melbourne and people going out, and then it's like, you're showing off whatever you're doing, and then like within an hour, everyone's posting up whatever they're doing, trying to like.
Bruv, I felt like I was at the wedding. The different angles I saw.
The amount of people that are there.
Yeah.
Because we knew it was only me and Amir that went, so it was only two of us from Perth. So we're like, we got to show you guys everything that happened.
Yeah. And it's good they spread it out over a week. There was another wedding there too.
There was a wedding before I left here. There was a wedding like the week before I left. We flew out the Thursday night. On the Friday, there was a wedding here.
Yeah.
The same time we had the wedding in Sydney, there was a wedding going on in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then when we left Sydney, there was another wedding going on there too.
It's wedding season, man. November, October.
It's starting again.
It's that spring.
I don't know why, like during the heat though.
It's spring. So winter just finished.
Just spring,
it's like before summer comes around, end of the year. That's when they're trying to get it all.
Today felt like summer, bro.
Someone's got the best lightings. Winter, where you gonna take photos?
That's
You know what I mean? People will sacrifice their heat for a good photo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sweating in those suits in 30-something degree heat.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But mashallah, all in all, it was a hectic trip.
Yeah, it was very good. I took a day and a half to recover.
I can imagine, bro.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
because I don't sleep on flights. When I landed midnight, slept at 1 a.m., woke up dhuhr, ate, went back to sleep, and then woke up Isha time. So I slept pretty much that whole day. And I had to get up to go to work again. So it was one of those.
Yeah, I know for sure now. If I ever travel, I'm always either booking a day before and after, or just a day after. That day after is very crucial. Yeah,
because it doesn't hit you until you land.
No,
So
it's not
once you
even
come
just the
through-
daylight saving. It's just, the time difference. It's just the fact that you need that extra day to
that's
just
what
sort
I
of
mean.
transition into the work.
Relax.
Yeah.
Take that break. Because you can't just land
And the
that
next
night
day,
and the next morning.
Because
go
you're still
straight to work.
processing the whole trip that happened. Because you just landed, you see family, you see this, friends, whatever it is. And by the
I
time
think that day is for you to mentally adjust to get back to reality now.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I'm ready to go to work the next day. If you get to work the same day, you'll be like,
you don't
I
work.
can't.
I quit on the spot.
Yeah.
Right then and there.
That's
You know
it.
what I mean? That's something I would do. What about you, man? How's your week been?
Yeah, good, alhamdulillah, man.
Nice and easy?
Just taking it easy, bro. You know how it is, man.
Inshallah, we should hook up a trip, man.
Nah, no time for that, bro.
Not yet?
No time for that. Yeah, right. I mean, I'm not currently.
I got back to work and I'm like, I need to take more annual leave. And they're like, you're going on a trip again? I'm like, yeah. They're like, what time? And they're like, when? I'm like, in February. They're like, yeah, no worries. What date? I'm like, let me look at my flights. And they're looking at me like, you booked the flights before you took annual leave? And they're like, I was like, yeah, I booked the flights before I went to Sydney. I got my second
Me and
trip.
Jabbar are the same. We were just traveling.
Just go.
Yeah. Do you have the money? Do you think you could take the time off? Yes, go for it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the money's gonna get spent, right?
Exactly.
Like it's. You think about it, you're like, it's only $1,000. In most cases, like a lot of places when you're in Perth and stuff like that, a lot of places nearby cost about $1,000 for you and a partner or something, right? Yeah. And that's like Southeast Asian countries, or even if you go interstate, it's still roughly around $1,000 from Perth. But that $1,000 at that point in time when you're trying to book it seems like a lot, but
you'll be
stretch it out. Spend it out. Yeah, you'll spend it within a couple of days anyway.
And you know what I realize, especially with a lot of people, one thing that stops them from actually traveling is they already sort of estimate a figure in their head that it's already gonna be out of my budget. You know, like if you tell them, let's go here for 5-6 days. they're already thinking, you know what, I need 1-2K. When you know, $800-900 is all you need. Sometimes $500. Some places.
Not even that. Like they rely on other people too. So they're like, I'm gonna go if you come with me. And then it's like, did you book the flights? They delay, you delay. Next thing you know, you guys don't get enough.
Bro, man, I'm gonna nah.
You
just book it with your wife. If you can't, book it alone. I'm serious, bro. Don't book it with your boys, man.
No, I'm at a stage now where it's like, first, alhamdulillah, my wife loves traveling as well, so that's good. But when it comes down to booking trips with friends or whatnot, there's been a few instances where, you know, you plan, like you said.
A lot of people bail.
Yeah, they bail, right? So me, if I'm organizing anything with a group of boys, I tell them, all right, look, all right, we're in the planning stage today. Let's set a 1 month deadline where we book our tickets, right? A month from now, we'll book our tickets, which is still maybe a month or two in advance. When that deadline comes, regardless of who's booking or not, if I really want to go to the place, I'll book my ticket. 9 out of 10 times, 3 or 4 people, even on the last day, somebody will book.
Yeah,
with you, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But if nobody books that first ticket, nobody's going.
Yeah, nobody's going.
Nobody's going.
They don't want to be the only ones to commit up front.
For this trip, we all sat down at a restaurant
Yeah,
at the same time and did
day.
it one time.
Everybody booked it all together.
So we gave a month, like he said, and it's like everyone just, this is how much the flights are gonna cost.
Yeah.
So bring this much on this day, and then
That's
everyone
nice.
will come up and got it done. Yeah.
No. But mashallah, that's the way it should be done. That's the way it should be done.
So we got
if you stick to that, and there's nothing to lose. You only stand to gain when you do travel. You learn so much and experience so much. But that's just me talking.
Yeah. No,
but without further ado, let's get into today's topic, man. Today's topic is a topic that I believe everybody needs to look at, and it's, for me, I would say it's a major part of growing up. It's a major, not growing up, but maturing, becoming an adult, and it's a major part of your adult life. And I would go as far as saying it's a defining point between childhood and adulthood. Like, it's when you realize this, or the day that you sit down and you think about this in whatever scale, maybe you know, at a minimal level or a maximum level, that is the point where you have fully transitioned now from a child or a kid to an adult, a mature person, and that is taking ownership for everything in your life. I understand that is such a big, and as Jabbar was saying earlier, a bit of a vague statement, but it can be broken down to so many different parts, and that's what we're here to discuss today. And if I just say that out loud to you guys, what does it mean to you guys, taking ownership of everything in your life? Before we break it down as a group, what does that statement mean to you individually? If I was to start from there.
Who wants to take it?
Why is it?
We'll give it to
Elmi.
Elmi.
You're right to left, man.
We'll give it to Elmi.
Right in the middle.
I pick Elmi. What does taking ownership of everything in your life mean to you, and how do you process that?
Taking ownership in my life. The way I process it is just handling your business, man. Just do what you got to do on a regular basis. Obviously, as Muslims, you know, pray your salah whenever you can. You know, go to the mosque with your family, your friends. You know, try to be on good notes with them, and just try to bring a positive vibe towards everything.
Yeah,
that's I would say my vision.
Yeah. I mean, look, man. Like in life, if you think about it, a lot of people have this concern that they don't necessarily have control over their life. You know, or that they don't basically have any form of ownership over their life. And that's usually comes about when something bad happens, or they feel like they're not living their true life. You know what I mean? And if you think about it, most of us are sort of governed by our responsibilities. All right? So we've got family, we've got work, we've got, you know, our salah, we've got all of these things that take up a lot of our time, and they are beneficial, very beneficial, but they take up our time as well, right? And because they're mandatory, like you have to do it in order to survive, that in a sense puts you in a position where you feel like you pretty much didn't choose these things. These things are mandatory, and I don't have control over whether I want to do this or not. I have to do it. You understand? So you don't have this control. But that also leaves us to feel like we're not living our life the way we want it, you know?
Yeah.
And so taking ownership, I think for me, is more about understanding the things that you can control and the things that you can't. And with the things that you can control, actually using it to steer your life in the direction that you actually want it to go, rather than just going with the flow and just fulfilling your responsibilities, the things that are put onto you. So just going to work and just coming home to a family and everything, but you've got no goals, you've got no ambitions, you don't know where you are headed down 5-10 years. You don't know whether you're trying to improve your life regularly. You don't know like what kind of goals you want to have when it comes to establishing some sort of legacy here on this earth before you pass away. You don't have any of that. All you're doing is just fulfilling your responsibilities.
Yeah.
And yes, that's in a sense taking ownership because you're fulfilling your responsibilities. But are you really living the life that you want? Like, are you headed towards the direction that you want it to go? Do you understand? Okay. So taking ownership for me is just going that extra step and using that extra time, that extra part of your life to steer it into the direction that you want.
Yeah, I agree, but to kind of like elaborate a bit more on what you said, a lot of people take ownership. They take ownership when it's a positive thing. So if they I don't know, got hired at a very good job, or they did something, bought a car, they did an achievement in their life, that's me. Look what I did, like that's all on me. But when they have a goal that they're not hitting, then everything that's stopping them that they can't control, that's what they focus on. Like, this person is stopping me, it's too far away, there's this, there's that, rather than going, okay, those are just walls, what can I do to climb those walls?
Yeah.
So to me, when you say with those goals, if they're achievable goals, then they're always, that's on me, I got this, I'm working on it. And they, especially when they can see the light at the end of the tunnel, they'll take ownership. But a lot of people, like you said, they're taking care of their responsibilities, that the little time they do have off to work on themselves, they end up kind of like taking it as a relaxation time, time to unwind or do whatever they want to. And then when they get back to their responsibilities, it's like, this is not me, something's controlling my life, I'm not controlling myself. And that's just honestly looking at yourself and going, what are you doing with your time? The biggest one of ownership is like, what are you doing with your time? Because a lot of people say, there's this stopping me, there's this stopping me, there's this stopping me. If you add that all up and you go, that's 4 hours of the day or 5 hours of the day, you got work, you got to do this responsibility, you got to, see the family, what are you doing the rest of them? They don't have an answer. They don't have an answer because they're just not putting in that effort. And you got to have that mentality first of, this is what I got to own up to for you to put in that effort. A lot of people think they can put in the effort, but then they don't own up to it. Then they'll never put, it's like a vicious cycle where they keep going down.
Yeah, like you think about it, right? Even with the responsibilities side, it's sometimes about like improving the quality of that one aspect of your life. So take work, for example. There's people that'll do one certain type of job, whether they like it or not, it pays the bills. That's all they say. This pays the bills. But what about like you're spending 8 hours here, minimum, right? 8 hours at this job, and you're not trying to improve your mindset. You're not trying to improve your skills. You're not trying to enhance and climb up the ladder. You're not trying to do anything other than the fact that it pays the bills. Yes, you're taking care of your responsibilities. You're going to work. You're handling your business. But are you really improving the quality of that aspect? Same thing with like family time. A lot of people say, I'm spending family time during this time. Okay, that's fine. But how much of it is really quality family time? Like, are you on your phone most of the time? Are you actually engaging in a proper conversation with someone? Are you trying to get to know them a lot better? Like, a lot of people, I'm telling you, like, they fulfill these responsibilities, or they take ownership in the sense of just doing it, not necessarily actually fulfilling it and qualifying it and making it better and improving it and enhancing it.
See, if I was to give my take on this, it wouldn't be just necessarily responsibilities. I think you hit a point that I agree with really well, which is a lot of people do take ownership when they've done something well, right? So that's part one. When you reap without apology, when you do well, right? So don't apologize for the good that you do, right? But when it really counts is when you're not doing so well. That's when you should be taking ownership, because it's not what happens that matters, because what happens to everybody. Some people born without parents, some people born in, poverty. What happens to you, you don't have control over it. But what you do in the time or the situation that you're in. You know, you could be born in a family where, you know, no male role model, you know, poverty. You live in an area where it's, you know, ghetto, gang violence, all these things, right? But taking ownership is realizing that, okay, I don't have control over what happened to me. I have control of what I do next and how I react to that, which is a point that Jabbar said. When a lot of people aren't doing well, that's when they start listing, this is what happened to me, this is what's stopping me, you know. Okay, well, this friend that's, you know, taking up your time, what are you doing about it? You know, this job that you, like you said, just pays the bills, but, you know, you could be paying your bills and then some. What are you doing about it? You know, there's so many factors. So what determines the quality of your life is not what happens to you, it's how you react to those things. And how you navigate those instances where something isn't happening to you. Because not every day is a day where something bad is happening to you. You know what I mean? You might have, and that again ties in with us Islamically as well. We believe in fate and destiny, where everything is destined for you, right? But then, having said that, you don't just say, okay, I was destined to be poor. You know? The way you react to what happens to you, because qadr is three things. It's what happens to you, what happens for you, and how you react to those two. So some things that happen to you is, you know, you don't choose who you're born to. You don't choose where you're born in. You don't choose what language you speak, what race you're from. Those are things that happen to you. You don't have control over that. There's things that happen for you. You don't have control over, you know, your body, your health. You don't have control over those things. Tomorrow you might get a random call saying, yo, there's a beautiful job opportunities. These happens for you. Again, how you react to it. Are you grateful? And if things are taken away from you, are you still grateful? And do you still try to keep your head up and keep going? That's for me what taking ownership of your life is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that people, it's easier for people to blame others and other things than to look at themselves, which is the first kind of barrier they get into. And the second, which is my advice I always give to people, is regardless of all the other barriers in front of you, did you put 100% in consistently? Because a lot of people say that this stopped me. Okay. So did you see those barriers and then stop and then slow down and then go, I can't do it? Or did you see those barriers, did everything you can, and then now have to find another way around it? Because a lot of people, they don't put that 100% effort in. They'll go, oh, did you get that raise? Oh, no, I didn't ask my boss. My boss doesn't like me. It's like, well, you don't know. Like, you can't complain. So anytime someone comes up to me with like trying to help or advice and stuff like that, I go, look, you got to put, I can't give you any advice other than give you all. Because you got to give you all before you, like you said, people say it's fated for me. I'm fated to be poor. Exactly. Well, that's only if you put 100% effort in the whole time consistently, and then at the end, if that's where you lie, that's where you lie.
No, but I see that's the beauty of faith. Like in our religion, if we come back to that, it's okay, you are put in this situation where you are poor, but it's not to say that you'll be permanently poor. You've got to work to try and get yourself out of it. But if it doesn't happen, that you still stay content and happy to your Lord and to yourself that this is your situation. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that just because you're in this situation today,
it's a done deal.
Okay, it's destined for me and I'm going to be in it permanently. You know what I mean? It's to teach you how to react and how to proceed. You do the work and then you trust the Lord.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
You put that work in first.
Exactly. You put in the work first. That's the first step. And that is where this topic comes in. You look at your life and you look at not only the parts that you're doing well, but the parts that you're failing. And you ask yourself that question, did I do everything I can?
Consistently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To do what needs to be done to get myself which leads to almost point where it's like living your optimal life now. That's how you get there, by taking ownership, by changing your ways if need be, by adapting new qualities and new skills and moving forward.
I think it's just having that right mindset. Like if you look at these tasks and you go, this is a lesson for me. This is a lesson. This is something that I can grow from, rather than this is something stifling me and dragging me down. then you have a much better opportunity. You have a much better chance of taking something good out of that and then improving yourself. Because a lot of people, if you look at a lot of the successful people, they've been put through hard times. Those hard times is what forged them to be successful. So are you being forged or are you being broken down?
Exactly. That's the way.
So, okay, so for the listeners out there that are probably wondering, how do you actually start? How do you start to take control of your life? Like, what's phase one? What's the first part of it? Like, if you've got the mindset that, you know, from now on, that's it. I want to live my optimal life. But some people don't know what that optimal life is. Okay, but some people do. They know what that life is. They just don't know how to get there. What is it that they need to do? What's step one?
Well, for me, like for the people that don't know what the optimal life is, it's to try new things, to explore, to travel. Because you got, for example, I have my younger brothers. They're going into uni, and my sisters are as well. And they'll ask me the same thing: what do I want to study? I'm like, do you know all the career paths out there? Because me, as I went through uni and then graduated, I started seeing all these paths that I've never saw as a kid. You know, I've never dreamt of this, like, opportunities I could have. And you can't, making a decision on limited options isn't a good thing to do. So broaden your horizon, talk to people, go travel, which is a big thing. See what you want, what you really like to do. And then it's a mindset, not falling into that trap of blaming other people. And to me, it's very easy to say, like, it's just a mindset, get over it. But honestly, keeping a team around you is what will help you with that mindset. Because I can sit down with you and go, these are my problems, this is like this. And you can tell me, okay, well, this is all you can do. Are you doing that? And I can go, or, you know, I can get out of my feelings and out of that. But if I'm surrounded by people that are negative and stuff like that, they're going to keep you going down. Like, you're right, that person is stopping you. You're right, there is no opportunity. You can't do that. So knowing what your options are, and then having that team around you that can keep you on that path of keeping that mentality, I reckon is like the first two steps in my opinion.
I would put one step before that, which is you took it the right way, which is in terms of, and you said for those people that don't know what that life is, but regardless of whether you know that life or you don't, like Omar said in the question, if you're in that state where now you want to live your optimal life and your question is, where do I start? How do I take ownership? I think it's sit down and have a real conversation with yourself, you know, or somebody that knows you really well. If you're married, if you're close to your parents that really know you and what you get up to, and what you excel in, what you don't excel in, have that conversation and really just dig deep in where you're not excelling, and in those areas that you're excelling in, how can you build that up better, and then work your way from there. Once you do that and you know what needs to change, because if your ultimate lifestyle is, you know, to have the physique of a bodybuilder and, you know, to be that, but you're a couch potato, like, you need to figure out what's wrong first before you do something.
I think that ties to our happiness episode. Are you trying to get that bodybuilder because that's what everyone wants and everyone likes, or is that what truly makes you happy? Yeah. Because you can be looking at the stuff in your life that needs improvement and going, I need to improve this, I need to do better in these tasks. But are those tasks what you want?
Yeah.
You know?
So when you do look at it, then you figure out, okay, what do I want to build and why? And then that's how you build on from there. And then I totally agree with the point where you said having the friends of the like mind is really important, because yes, you are born alone and you die alone, but you don't live in this world alone, you know. So you do need, whether it's your friends, your family, your spouse, whoever you trust closest to and you spend a lot of time with, should be on the like mindset, or at least trying to improve themselves and yourself.
I don't know if you guys ever experienced that, where like you change your friend circle to like a more productive circle, and then you go back and you see the people that you used to be friends with, and
you can't hang around.
And you just go, I used to hang around with you people, like they're so negative and they're so this, and you went, oh, no wonder why I'm doing better, or no wonder why it's easier for me because I was in this environment before. And it's crazy because you're looking at it and you go, I had no idea when I was in that environment. Like, I had no clue. So a lot of people are in that environment, they don't know it, but they think it's a positive environment. So that having that one-on-one with yourself at the beginning, I reckon you're right. It's actually really important.
I'll probably add an additional step in there, and that is to take control over the things that you already have control over. So like, if somebody, for example, wanted to actually start getting a bit more healthier, and you know, slimming down or toning up, whatever it is that you wanted to do, right? Just as an example, like you don't have control over your money, or you can't actually attend the gym. Do it at home. Do some home workouts. Yeah, there's a lot on YouTube that you go to the park, start running, start cutting down on the junk food, and start eating more healthier foods. Start waking up earlier and going to sleep earlier and having a healthy sleep pattern. Like start with the small things that you can control. And if it's, for example, you want to get a job, you want that, like that's the thing that you want to do. Start sending out your resume.
And
start
not
speaking to people.
A day. Start sending out hundreds a day.
Exactly. Start taking control of that time. Like that time that you sit down and watch Netflix, or that time you sit down and chat to people. That could be used actually when sitting down in front of a laptop screen or whatever, and you're sending out resumes. Start going door to door to all these different places that have advertised. Yeah. Like just take control of the things that you can actually take control over. I think that would be the additional step that I'll add.
There is one more, but I didn't mention it because I know Elmi's going to speak about. I don't want to take all the talking points off Elmi. Don't worry, I know what you're going to say. Go on, add another point to it, man.
All right, let me think about it. I've been thinking about it for the last 20 minutes, man. Like honestly, you guys hit it all on the nail. Like, but to all the Muslim viewers out there, and obviously, firstly to us, you want to take control of your life, your salah, bro. At the end of the day, wallahi, to be honest, like. Firstly, for us and myself first, if you don't take control of your salah and your deen, nothing's going to work in your life. Believe me, man. Like, from experience, Yeah. I don't pray every day. Obviously, all of us, we don't pray every salah. We're still struggling. Perfect, but the thing is, if you make effort for that, and if you put your deen first, everything will follow after, man. 100%, bro. Yeah, that's my input.
Say the spiritual side.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you need that barakah in your efforts. You need that barakah in the time that you spend.
And it just helps you, like with Haji's point of like having those options and whether it's right or wrong. That decision making, praying your salah, doing istikhara, that stuff really makes it clearer for you on what the decision you're gonna make is.
It's actually interesting when the first thing you take control over is your mindset. And then something negative or positive happens to you. And normally you react a certain way. But because you've taken control of your mindset, straight away you start to look at things completely differently. To the point that it shocks you, and it just makes you sit there and wonder, had I not taken control of my mindset, I would have looked at it this way. But now I'm actually looking at all the different possibilities of how I could interpret this situation. And that's what it is. It's about interpretation. I'll give you an example. Like, for example, if you're running late and all that happens to you is just red light after red light after red light. Normally what you would do is you'd get frustrated. You'll start saying, yeah. Anybody that's in your path that's slowing you down even more,
it's their fault.
It's their fault.
It's all their fault.
Yeah, like but as soon as you take control of your mindset and say, hang on, maybe this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's way of slowing me down, or maybe
accident could be happening up there.
Exactly. There could be a bruised bus that's
exactly.
that's checking things, that could be anything, but I'm just being slowed down for a certain reason, and you never know what that reason is.
But that requires a different level of thinking. Not the normal way of thinking. Normal way of thinking, initially you just get frustrated and aggro.
Oh, absolutely, because that's reflexes. That's something that just you're not thinking properly. You're not thinking properly. But what I'm saying is, when you take control of that thought process and you sit there and you wonder, like, okay, how else can I interpret this? What's the positive way that I can interpret this?
But to me, I notice it through other people, not really through yourself, because once you change that mindset, you're not thinking like you were before. So for me personally, and Elmi can attest to this, I was a hothead when I was younger. I was exactly that person. It was everybody else's fault. Someone staring at me wrong, he has a problem. It was always that. And I remember I worked on it. It was a conscious thing, and I worked on it, and sports and martial arts helped me out with that. And then at one point, I saw a friend of mine getting really angry at some silly situation, and I'm looking at him like, what are you doing? It's something small. And then halfway through that, I was like, but that was me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that I have to stop becoming that.
Knowing Jabbar growing up,
this guy knows personally. Like, and now it's just like I don't get bothered by it.
To this day, I actually remember that walking with someone one time during, I think it was during December or something. It was a busy period. Anyway, I was walking with someone, and he, non-Muslim or whatever. I was walking with him, and he started, checking his pockets. He had some cash in his pocket, you know. He started checking it and he couldn't find it. And I think he must have dropped it because earlier, before we actually walked into the shopping center or whatever, he had it on him. Yeah. But then he was checking, he couldn't find it. So he's like, maybe when I pulled out my phone, it slipped down. And then I realized it, and just, you know, normally people, they would be angry, they would be upset. This person, he says something to this day that I still remember it. I'm like, yeah, that's a different level of thinking, man. He said, I hope the person who finds it benefits from it. And I'm sitting there like wondering, bruv, you just lost close to $100. Like a 50 plus 20s, you know, you lost all that cash and you didn't purposely give it to somebody. So, and you don't know whether somebody's going to pick it up, but he just made, I hope somebody that picks it up benefits from it.
Almost the exact same story. Like a mate of mine as well, non-Muslim, same thing. He lost some money, but he was going to go out that night. He was going to go clubbing or whatever it was, a mate from uni. And he goes, I shouldn't be spending that money that way anyways. Hopefully the person spends it better than I do. So I was like,
sometimes that's a different level. Like, for example, take Umar ibn Khattab, right? Somebody steals from him and he runs after him. Not to take the money back, but he says to him, I forgive you.
Yeah. So that doesn't become a sin on you.
Exactly. That's another level. Like that's a level that you should be striving to attain. Like, bro, that's mashallah, man.
I'd be pissed if that money was gone, man.
Oh,
I
bro,
worked hard for it, bro.
Me too.
The way he said that,
but the thing is, now it's like,
now
what are the chances of you finding it? And not only that, like now you that accident or that bad thing now became a good deed for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because now you've put that intention behind it. Now you said something that negative that happens to me, khalas, inshallah somebody benefits from it. And when they do, you've made that dua already. So
and
who knows, Allah might reward you.
A good mood and mindset for the rest of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is wow. You tick so many boxes with just one.
Yeah.
But the other thing I think a lot of people fail to take control over is money. And you'll see it like affecting people's lives, people's marriages, people's mindset, affecting people's mood as well. Simply because they don't know how to take control of their money. But that in itself is a big topic that we did earlier, and I think it's something that we should reintroduce. But
different aspects of it. But no, that's very true. That's very true. Especially when they can't attain it and they do everything they can to try and chase it. But like you said, that's a different topic. Inshallah, we'll cover. But I think that covers us for today. It was a very, very insightful discussion today. I learned quite a few things as always. And inshallah, our viewers have. Until next week, take it easy.